sorry, this is the question from the previous year AIMS papers. Hello friends, this is the question about from previous year AIMS papers. So in the histology section given, this is the histology section which 1 minute, yeah, which marked the area is involved in relieving pain in response to massage. Okay, so what are the, so in the histology area, which marked area is involved in relieving pain in response to massage? If you see, this is B, C and here A, right? So pain, if you remember, pain is by anterolateral pathway, that too substantia gelatinosa, and anterolateral pathway will mainly is responsible for pain. So now relieving pain is gate control theory. It is gate control theory will tell us about the relieving pain. So here the marked area A, this area A will indicate substantia gelatinosa. Okay, this indicates substantia gelatinosa. So what actually happens in gate theory of pain is gate control theory. What actually happens in gate control theory of pain is, here first there is an A beta fiber. So when you massage in gate control theory, you will apply pressure or massage. On massaging, it will stimulate the A beta fibers and it will activate the substantia gelatinosa on dorsal part of spinal cord. This substantia gelatinosa will in turn inhibit the small diameter pain fibers. It will inhibit small diameter pain fibers. Okay, because it inhibits the pain fibers, obviously the pain sensation is decreased. So this is about the gate control theory of the pain. Then if you see the next question, so it's next question, fibers reaching directly to Purkinje cell of cerebellum arises from which of the following? Fibers reaching directly to Purkinje cell of cerebellum arises from which of the following? So Purkinje cell of cerebellum, the fibers arises directly from inferior olivary nucleus. They arise directly from inferior olivary nucleus. So we will see some important points, but before that, so we will first see the important points and then we will learn about it. Okay, first we will see some important points about cerebellum. So if you see cerebellum, in the cerebellum consists of grey matter. This cerebellum consists of a cortex of grey matter and it also contains a central core of white matter. So in cerebellum there is central core of white matter surrounding a cortex which is grey matter. Now this cerebellum consists of 3 layers. From outside to inside we have 3 layers of cerebellum. From inside to outside we will see, one, we have the granular layer, then we have the Purkinje cell layer, then we have the molecular layer from inside to outside. So first in the granular layer you will see that there are many granules are seen. There are granular cells which are seen and even small neurons are present whose axons extend into the molecular layer. You will see granular cells and you will also see small axons whose neurons will extend into the molecular layer. So neurons are extending till the molecular layer. Now in the Purkinje cell, one of the largest neurons present in the human brain is Purkinje cell. This is not largest, but it is one of the largest, because the largest is the neuron of pyramidal system, that is Betz cell is largest. But here in Purkinje cells, these are the large Purkinje cell neurons. These are the large neurons. Here one more important, This Purkinje cell is a single roll of Purkinje cell, and these are large neurons with single axon. They just have one single axon, and that axon is going deep into the cerebellum like this, and this is one axon that they have single axon, and that single axon goes into the deep into the cerebellum, and they have multiple dendrites. They have multiple dendrites which go into the molecular layer. It has multiple dendrites which go into the molecular layer. So these are the important things about Purkinje cell. Then we have molecular layer. In the molecular layer in the molecular layer we have the axons of granular cells. This is granular cells. We have axons of granular cells, and dendrites of Purkinje cells are present in the molecular layer, and this molecular cell layer also has primary glial cells, and it also has primary glial cells. Okay, so these are the important layers which are present in the cerebellum. Right, now what about the tracts? If you see the tracts, major afferent tracts we will see. So the major afferent tracts will be mossy fibers will carry vestibulocerebellar tract, spinocerebellar tract, and corticopontocerebellar tract. Okay, then mossy fibers carry vestibulocerebellar tract. So this vestibulocerebellar tract enters through inferior cerebellar peduncle, and it excites the granule cell. Okay, whereas spinocerebellar tract enters through inferior cerebellar peduncle and also superior cerebellar peduncle, and again activates the granule cells. Whereas we have corticopontocerebellar fibers which will pass through middle cerebellar peduncle, and they will excite the granule cells. Okay, so this is mossy fibers. Then if you see the climbing fibers we have only one, that is olivocerebellar tract, which will enter the cerebellum through inferior cerebellar peduncle, and it will excite the Purkinje cells. So mossy fibers through vestibulocerebellar tract, through inferior cerebellar peduncle, it activates granule cells. Spinocerebellum through inferior cerebellar peduncle again activates granule cells. Corticopontocerebellar tract through middle cerebellar peduncle activates the granule cells. Whereas climbing fibers through olivocerebellar tract, it activates the inferior cerebellar peduncle and will activate the Purkinje cells. Okay, these are the important afferents. So if you see the function of these fibers, Golgi cells will inhibit the granule cells. Golgi cells inhibit granule cells. The stellate cells will inhibit Purkinje cells. Stellate cells inhibit Purkinje cells, whereas basket cells also, these are the cells, even basket cells will inhibit the Purkinje cells. Okay, then granule cells will stimulate Purkinje cells, and granule cells also stimulate the stellate cells and also the basket cells. Okay, see, I will draw this again because it's like so confusing. Right, so Golgi cells inhibit granule cells, number 1. Stellate cells inhibit Purkinje cells. Basket cells also inhibit Purkinje cells. Okay, now this Purkinje cells will stimulate deep cerebellar nuclei. They will stimulate the deep cerebellar nuclei, whereas this granule cell will activate the stellate cell, granule cell will activate the Purkinje cell, and granule cell will activate the basket cell. So these are the interconnections that you see. Golgi cells inhibit the granule cells, stellate cells inhibit the Purkinje cells, basket cells inhibit the Purkinje cells, Purkinje cells activate the deep cerebellar nuclei, whereas granule cells activate the stellate cells, basket cells, and Purkinje cells. Right. So if you come back to the question again, so in the question, Purkinje cell fibers reaching the Purkinje cells from the cerebellum are directly from inferior olivary nucleus, because if you remember this chart which I have made, yeah, this one, to the Purkinje cells through the inferior cerebellar peduncle, olivocerebellar fibers are going. So olivocerebellar fibers is from inferior olivary nucleus, right? Right. Next, the next question is, right, calculate the net filtration with the following data. We will have to calculate the net filtration. So pressure in the Golgi complex is equal to 42 millimeters of Hg. Then osmotic pressure in the Golgi complex is 12 millimeters of Hg. Pressure in the Bowman's capsule is given 12 millimeters of Hg. Assume that no proteins are filtered. Then what is the value? So we will do it. Pressure of Golgi complex is given as 1 minute. Pressure of Golgi complex is given as 42 millimeters of Hg. That is, hydrostatic pressure of Golgi complex is 42 millimeters of Hg. Osmotic pressure of Golgi complex is 12 millimeters of Hg, whereas hydrostatic pressure of Bowman's capsule is 12 millimeters of Hg. So I will draw a this is the Bowman's capsule, this is the afferent limb, efferent limb, and this is the glomerulus. Okay, so hydrostatic pressure of glomerular capillaries is equal to 42, which is exerting like this, it is 42. Then osmotic, this is glomerular capillaries, not Bowman's capsule. Hydrostatic pressure of Bowman's capsule is, this is Bowman's capsule, so it has 12 millimeters of hydrostatic pressure, so this is 12. Okay, hydrostatic pressure of Bowman's capsule. Then if you see, the no proteins are being filtered, very good. Then the hydrostatic pressure of glomerulus is, because there is more hydrostatic pressure here, then water will filter into the Bowman's capsule, so hydrostatic pressure of glomerulus is 42. Okay, then osmotic pressure of glomerulus is 12. If there is more osmotic pressure, then water from Bowman's capsule goes into the capillaries, so like this it is 12. Okay, so if you calculate it, 42 minus 12 minus, this is also 12, no? Minus 12. Actually, the question might have been given wrong. PBS, Bowman's capsule pressure, hydrostatic pressure of Bowman's capsule is actually 16. Okay, this is 16. So if you minus this, 42 minus 28, which is 14. Okay, 14 pressure will be there. What will be the direction of pressure? Obviously towards the Bowman's capsule, like this. Like this we will have 14 net pressure. Okay, this is one way of calculating it, is by drawing this graph, because this graph is by Starling's forces, right? I have drawn it based on the hydrostatic pressure and osmotic pressure changes. Now instead of that, even you can remember this, the net filtration pressure formula also. Net filtration pressure is equal to net filtration pressure is equal to hydrostatic pressure of glomerular capillaries minus osmotic pressure of glomerular capillaries minus hydrostatic pressure of Bowman's capsule. This is the same thing which I have done here. Hydrostatic pressure of glomerular capillaries minus hydrostatic pressure of glomerular capillaries minus osmotic pressure of glomerular capillaries minus hydrostatic pressure of Bowman's capsule. So if you do the same thing, it's the similar, 42 minus 12 minus 16, which is again 14. Okay, so this is how we calculate this thing. Okay, then the next question. Right, so these are the two important questions. Thank you for watching.